They won't panic when you leave. They'll panic when they realize you're not coming back. That's the part they never show. That's the part they don't post. At first, they laugh, they celebrate, they act like they're on top of the world. But my friends, let's not get fooled by the fireworks. They burn bright, loud, and fast. And then silence takes over. Because the real storm, it doesn't hit when you walk away. It hits when your name no longer echoes in their world. When your energy stops reaching out. That's when the act starts to crumble, piece by piece, behind closed doors. Hey folks, imagine this for a second. You're a lighthouse, not a boat. A lighthouse. You don't chase storms. You stand, you shine, you guide. But when someone sails off thinking they don't need your light anymore, they may laugh at first, sure. But when night falls, when the waves rise and there's no signal, no warmth, no direction, that's when they remember what they lost. That's when pretending they didn't need you turns into praying they hadn't pushed you away. But by then, the lighthouse has already turned. That's what this is about. That moment, that shift, when your stillness starts to drive them insane, when they realize you're not playing games anymore, you're not waiting for an apology that never came, you're not explaining yourself for the 100th time, you're not holding on to someone who let go of you with ease. And that's what shakes them, not your absence, but your peace, not your silence, but the fact that it doesn't carry pain anymore, it carries power. They'll pretend they don't care. Of course they will. They'll post, they'll smile, they'll act like they upgraded. But deep down, something's off. Their laugh gets louder, but it doesn't last. Their stories are full, but their eyes are empty. Because when someone was used to your calm presence, your good morning messages, your check-ins, your energy always holding them steady, and suddenly that presence is gone. It doesn't just disappear. It leaves a hole they can't patch with noise. My friends, let me be clear. This isn't about being cold. This isn't about revenge. This is about reclaiming yourself. It's about learning that not everyone deserves access to your spirit. Your peace is sacred. Your energy is gold. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Not to be emotionless, but to master the emotion, to hold our ground when the world tries to shake us. So when they start pretending, let them laugh, let them talk, let them post. Because the moment they realize you're not watching, not reacting, not waiting, that's when it hits. That's when the pretending gets heavy. That's when the mask cracks. And you stay grounded. You keep building. You keep becoming. Because you're calm, it's louder than their noise. Say it in the comments. I protect my peace. Type it, show it, claim it. And if you're with me on this journey, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because we're just getting started. Stay with me. Number 1, the performance is for you, but it's also for themselves. They don't pretend for you, they pretend to survive their own guilt. At first glance, it looks like they're doing great, like nothing touches them, like they just snapped their fingers and moved on while you're sitting in the silence, trying to make sense of everything. But what you're seeing, my friend, isn't healing. It's theater. It's costume, lights, and a forced smile on a face that's barely holding it together. The performance isn't just for you, it's for them. To avoid facing the part of themselves that knows they messed up, that they lost something they didn't value until it vanished. Picture this, a house on fire. From the outside, it's glowing, it's bright, it looks alive. But get closer and you'll feel the heat. That's them. Their life looks loud, fun, colorful, but inside they're burning. Because no matter how many people are around, no matter how many selfies they post, the one person who made them feel safe, understood, steady, is gone. And that void, It doesn't fill with noise, it just gets louder. They thought you'd watch the show, that you'd scroll through their stories, see their adventures, their life is so good without you highlights, and react, that you'd chase, that you'd fall back into the loop. But something shifted this time. You're not chasing anymore. You're not interpreting breadcrumbs. You're not waiting for them to drop the act. And that's exactly what begins to crack the performance. Not because you're doing anything loud, but because you're doing nothing at all. See, folks, silence is uncomfortable for people who rely on attention to feel alive. When you remove your energy, your check-ins, your support, your care, they start realizing something terrifying. They're not as whole as they pretended to be, because the truth is, your presence wasn't just romantic. It was stabilizing, it was grounding, it was like emotional gravity, and now they're floating in a space they don't know how to navigate. They might ask themselves, why doesn't it bother them like it's bothering me? Or, did I really mean that little to them? That's fear talking. The fear that they didn't just lose someone who cared. They lost someone who stayed, someone who saw through their chaos and still chose to show up. But let's break the lie right here, right now. They didn't move on that fast. No one does. What they did was cover it up. They built distractions. They made noise. They went louder to silence the quiet. Because they know deep down, your calm scares them. It's not passive. It's powerful. It says, I'm not here to play anymore. You see, the performance is their survival suit. It's what they wear when they can't face what they feel. They laugh so they don't cry. They flirt so they don't feel alone. They stay busy so they don't have to stop. And remember. But at night, when the noise fades, that's when it creeps in. That's when the silence you left behind wraps around them like a mirror, reflecting all the truth they've been trying to avoid. And here's the deeper part. This performance isn't even about you anymore. It's about the version of themselves they're trying to convince still has control. Because watching you stay still while they spin, it breaks the illusion. It shows them that maybe, just maybe, they weren't the strong one in this story. Maybe they were the one who couldn't handle what was real. Now you might be wondering, why is it so hard to watch? Because you were real, because you still care or cared, and watching someone act like you meant nothing, that's a wound you feel in your soul. But let me say this loud, you are not what they pretend. You are what you consistently gave, and they felt it, even if they act like they didn't. Their pretending is not proof of peace. It's evidence of conflict. It's evidence of guilt. Because if they truly didn't care, they wouldn't need to pretend at all. They wouldn't need the show. They'd be quiet, peaceful, grounded like you. But they're not. They're spinning. Spinning so fast, they can't stop long enough to ask themselves why your absence feels heavier than your presence ever did. But here's the truth that sets you free. You're not responsible for someone else's healing. You're not obligated to break your silence just to comfort the person who broke you. If your presence didn't wake them up, let your absence do the work. That's not cold. That's clarity. That's what Stoic strength looks like. Not reacting, not chasing, not folding when the mask looks convincing. You've got to understand, folks, there's a big difference between being heartless and being healed, between playing games and practicing discipline. You're not doing nothing. You're doing the hardest thing possible, choosing not to reach for someone who keeps pretending your touch didn't matter. And eventually, that pretending gets exhausting. The laugh starts sounding fake even to them. The photos feel empty. The distractions lose their flavor, and all that's left is the silence. Your silence. And they'll realize they didn't just lose attention. They lost someone who saw them, someone who stood by them, someone who stayed real in a world that keeps faking it. So hold the line, my friend. Let the performance run its course, because every act has an ending. And when it does, when the lights go down and the audience leaves, they'll be left with one thing: the memory of the person who never needed a stage to be powerful. Type this in the comments: I won't flinch. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that peace is louder than performance, that you're not watching their act anymore because you're too busy writing a better story for yourself. And stay with me, because what's coming next, that's when their pretending turns to panic. Number 2, they can't feel the same attention anymore, and it hurts. You never realize how much someone poured into you until they stop. At first, they brush it off. They laugh, post, stay loud, stay distracted. They tell themselves, it's no big deal, I don't need them checking on me anymore. But slowly, without warning, something starts to feel off. It's not the silence itself that gets to them, it's the contrast. It's the fact that what used to be a steady stream of care, attention, presence is just gone. The warmth is missing, and the cold starts creeping in. You see, folks, when someone's used to being on the receiving end of your focus, your emotional energy, your effort, it becomes invisible, expected. They don't always recognize it for the gift it was until you stop giving it. Until you stop showing up with that "How was your day?" text. Until they post a story and your name doesn't show up. Until the phone buzzes and it's not you. That silence. It starts whispering things they don't want to hear. Because attention isn't just attention, it's comfort, it's validation, it's a reminder that someone sees them, and now you've taken that spotlight off of them. You're not watching the show anymore, and when the audience leaves, the performer starts wondering why. They might say, I'm fine without it, but their heart knows the truth. It knows that your energy came without conditions. You weren't there for convenience or attention games. You were steady. You were intentional. You were the kind of presence that didn't need to be loud to be felt. And when someone like that goes silent, the whole world starts sounding different. It's like walking through a house where the heat's been turned off. At first, the air feels the same, but after a while, you start to feel it in your bones. That cold creeps into the cracks. That's what's happening now. They don't feel your warmth anymore, and they miss it, even if they'd never admit it, even if they swore they were over it. That absence you left behind, it doesn't just fade, it echoes. They start replaying your words, reopening old messages, scrolling through memories, trying to feel that attention again, even if it's just for a second. Because when you poured into them, they didn't notice the weight of your presence. But now that it's gone, they feel the weight of your absence. And that's a completely different kind of heavy. And here's the part they don't want to face. It wasn't just what you said, it was how you said it. It was your consistency, your patience, your ability to show up even when they were being difficult, distant, or cold. They got used to it, got comfortable, maybe even took it for granted, thought you'd never stop trying. But then you did. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but because something in you snapped, something in you shifted. You realized you were pouring your attention into a cup with a hole in the bottom. You realized you were showing up for someone who had stopped showing up for you. And in that moment, your silence became your loudest decision. That's the kind of energy shift that shakes people, because you're not punishing them, you're just no longer available. You've stopped offering your spirit to someone who treated it like background noise. And now they don't know how to handle the quiet, because that quiet, it's not empty, it's full of questions. Did I push them too far? Do they still care? Are they really over me? But no answers come, just silence. And here's what hits the hardest. Your attention used to be their security blanket. Now they're cold. Now they're uncertain. Now they're realizing they never replaced the feeling you did. And now that feeling is gone. Folks, this is what Stoicism teaches us. That attention isn't something you throw around like it's cheap. It's sacred. It's earned. And when it's no longer being respected, the most powerful thing you can do is remove it. Not to manipulate, not to get noticed, but because your energy is too valuable to be wasted where it's not returned. Now you've redirected that attention inward. You've started healing, building, focusing. You're not watching their life anymore because you're finally living yours. And ironically, the moment they feel most forgotten is the moment you finally remembered yourself. So if you're sitting in that silence wondering if they care, just know they feel it. They may not show it. They may pretend it doesn't matter. But your energy was real. And real energy doesn't go unnoticed when it disappears. It haunts them. Let them sit with that silence. Let them face the emptiness they created. Because every second you don't reach out, it's not just quiet, it's a statement. And every time they check their phone and see nothing from you, that statement gets louder. Type this in the comments: my energy is sacred. Let them know you've reclaimed your power, that you're done giving your soul away for breadcrumbs, that your peace is more important than being seen. And stay with me, because the next shift, that's when your silence starts turning into their obsession. Number 3, they thought you'd come back, but you didn't. They weren't afraid you'd leave. They were afraid you'd finally stop returning. Let's be honest, my friends, this wasn't the first time things fell apart. This wasn't the first distance, the first silence, the first moment where they thought they could push you away and pull you back when they felt like it. They've seen the pattern before. They've learned your rhythm. They knew you'd come back. Every time, you'd cool off, then fold. You'd disappear for a moment, then circle back, texting late at night, asking if they were okay, trying to fix what they kept breaking. They thought this time would be no different. But this time, you didn't come back. And that's when the unraveling begins. Because they didn't prepare for this version of you, the one who stayed gone, the one who didn't send the "I miss you," the one who didn't ask "Can we talk," the one who just stopped chasing. See, when people get comfortable with your pattern, they assume it's permanent. They don't realize it was a choice. Your softness wasn't weakness, it was love. And when that love finally turns into self-respect, they don't know what to do with the silence that follows. At first, they waited. Maybe not openly, but emotionally, quietly, secretly. They were sure it was just a phase. He'll text, he always does. They kept checking their phone a little too often. They posted stories a little more frequently. Maybe even left a few breadcrumbs. Those subtle signs you were trained to react to. A song lyric, a meme, a life's good post that was just vague enough to spark your curiosity. But you didn't bite, you didn't fold, you didn't reappear like a loyal ghost from their past. And that's when something dark starts growing in them. Not hate, not anger, but fear. The fear that you're actually done. The fear that this time your silence isn't a reaction, it's a decision, that you finally stepped into the version of yourself that no longer needs to be seen to feel worthy, that no longer begs to be heard, that no longer waits around in emotional limbo, hoping they'll finally change. Let me tell you something that hits hard. The moment you didn't come back is the moment they realized they never had control. They thought they could time your heart like a faucet, turn it off when they were busy, turn it on when they needed comfort. But now the well is dry, the source is gone, and they're thirsty in a desert they helped create. It's not just that you're silent, it's that your silence doesn't feel angry anymore. It feels calm, it feels final, and that stillness It's terrifying to someone who was addicted to your reaction. They're not panicking because you left. They're panicking because you're okay without them. You see, the real power isn't in walking away. It's in staying gone. It's in resisting that old pattern, that urge to reach out just to keep peace. That need to explain your side one more time. You've broken the cycle. And now, you're building a life where their chaos no longer fits. Not because you hate them, but because you love yourself more than the story you were stuck in. They thought they could press rewind, but you've removed the tape. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just not available anymore. And that hits deeper than any insult ever could. You're living proof of the one thing they weren't ready to face. People can outgrow pain. People can outgrow manipulation. People can outgrow relationships where they're only loved when it's convenient, and when you grow in silence. That growth is invisible until it becomes undeniable. So now they watch, quietly. Maybe they pretend not to care. Maybe they tell their friends, he was never that serious anyway. But inside, they're facing a truth that burns. You were serious, you were consistent, you were real, and now you're gone. Let them sit with that. Let them wonder why you didn't come back. Let them realize that silence was never weakness. It was the final boundary, the moment where you stopped saving someone who kept throwing you into the fire. And maybe, just maybe, they'll start to ask the question they avoided for too long. Why did I treat someone like that and expect them to stay? But you don't need to answer. Your absence already did. So type it in the comments. I don't return to pain. Let the world know you've broken the loop, that you've stopped living on rewind and started pressing play on a new chapter, one where your peace doesn't need to be defended and your worth doesn't need to be proven. Stay with me, because what's coming next, that's when they stop pretending and start realizing. Number 4, the fake laughs don't heal the real void. You can laugh for the world, but you can't lie to your own silence. They laugh louder now, don't they? The posts are brighter, the captions bolder. Unbothered, they say. Free, they shout. But look deeper, my friend. That laughter, it's hollow. That smile, it's staged. Because joy that needs to be broadcasted is often not joy at all. It's a cover, a disguise, a distraction from the ache that hits when the world goes quiet and your name no longer lights up their screen. You used to be the calm in their chaos, the message that made them pause, breathe, feel seen. Now there's a space, a silence, and no amount of laughing into the camera or dancing at the party can fill it. They're performing now, desperately trying to convince everyone else they're over you. But what they're really trying to do is convince themselves. Let's paint it clear. Imagine someone drinking salt water. It looks like they're quenching their thirst. They keep sipping, keep smiling, keep acting like it's satisfying. But the more they drink, the thirstier they get. That's what they're doing now, consuming attention, noise, distractions, trying to fill a void that can't be filled by surface-level pleasures. Because that void, it was never about attention, it was about connection, and they lost the one person who gave it to them without games. They don't tell anyone how heavy it's getting, how the nights are starting to feel longer, how they scroll through old messages and pretend it's just nostalgia, how they see your name and feel that small, sharp twist in their stomach. Because admitting that would mean admitting they're not as okay as they said. It would mean acknowledging that the one they let go actually mattered. But pride is a stubborn thing. It'll keep them pretending long after the pain sets in. It'll tell them, just laugh louder, post more, look happy. But silence has a way of creeping through even the noisiest distractions. It shows up when they least expect it, during the song that reminds them of you, the quiet after the party, the empty bed that doesn't feel right anymore. And suddenly, the laughter they once weaponized becomes a reminder of what's missing. They thought you'd be watching. They thought the smile would sting you, the glow-up would pull you back in, but you didn't flinch, you didn't watch, you didn't react. And that's what changed everything. Because when your absence isn't shaken by their performance, when your silence holds, they feel it. You were never just another name in their phone. You were the one who brought peace without needing attention, the one who showed up with real energy, not breadcrumb validation. And now that energy is gone. Their soul notices. It aches. It whispers, "You lost something real." And here's where the lie breaks wide open. If they were truly over it, they wouldn't have to prove it. Real healing is quiet. Peace doesn't need an audience, but they're still performing, still trying to look whole, while something inside is cracking. That fake laugh, it doesn't reach their heart. And with every new attempt to cover the void only gets louder. They didn't expect you to stop watching. They didn't expect you to stop waiting. They didn't expect you to stop needing them, but you did. And that's what hits hardest. Not just that you're gone, but that your life didn't fall apart when they left. It got better, stronger, quieter. And that kind of peace, that's what haunts them. Now they're left with echoes, and no one's clapping for the performance anymore. The spotlight they craved, it's flickering, because even their audience can feel it now. Something's missing, something's off, something fake can only last so long before the truth bursts through. And you're not laughing for the crowd, you're not posting to prove, you're just living, building, healing, and that quiet presence, my friend, that unmoved energy, it shakes them more than any angry word ever could. So if you're watching their stories and wondering if they've moved on, look past the surface. The truth isn't in the laugh, it's in the silence that follows it. And that silence, that's where your absence echoes the loudest. Type this in the comments. Their noise can't touch my peace. Claim it, own it. Let the world see the difference between performance and presence. You're not part of the show anymore. You've become the story they pretend not to miss, but secretly can't forget. Stay with me, because next we go deeper. This is the moment where their own mask starts slipping, and the truth underneath. It's not as strong as they pretended to be. Number 5. They'll try to poke the old you and get nothing back. When your silence no longer hides pain but holds peace, that's when they get scared. It starts subtle, a like on your old post, a reaction to your story, a "hey stranger" message wrapped in fake casualness. They'll pretend it means nothing, just friendly, just checking in. But you know better now, don't you? That's not random, that's a test. That's them poking the old version of you to see if he's still there, the one who used to jump at crumbs, chase at the first sign of interest, answer within seconds just to feel a connection again. But this time, you don't move, you don't rush, you don't explain, you don't flinch, and that stillness, it terrifies them, because that version of you, the one they had emotional control over, is gone. You buried him. You didn't just disappear from their life. You evolved out of their reach, and they're feeling it now, not through what you say, but through what you don't. See, they never thought you'd stop playing the game. They thought you'd always be one message away, one compliment away, one fake emergency away. But now, the game feels broken. The script they've used to reel you back in doesn't work. Their flirt doesn't hit. Their bait doesn't bite. And instead of getting a reaction, they get silence. Not coldness, not spite, stillness. You've changed your frequency. And folks, when someone's tuned to chaos, peace sounds like a threat. They don't know how to interpret your calm. They mistake it for ego, for bitterness, for games. But it's none of those things. It's discipline, it's growth. It's what happens when a man finally stops outsourcing his self-worth to someone who only showed up when it was convenient. They try again, another poke, maybe even an apology laced with just enough ambiguity to keep you guessing. "I've been thinking about things," or "I hope you're doing okay." But it's not a reach for reconnection, it's a test. They want to see if they still have access to the old you, the one who'd drop everything for a small taste of hope. But that man doesn't live here anymore. He packed up his pain, he packed up his overthinking, his second chances, his hope that they'd one day change, and he walked, not in rage, not in bitterness, but in clarity. And now you stand tall, rooted in the version of yourself that doesn't flinch at every ghost from the past. You've learned the most powerful reaction isn't fire, it's indifference, the kind that isn't forced, it's earned. And the irony, that silence you carry now, the one they thought was weakness, it's the very thing that's shaking their foundation. Because silence has a way of amplifying truth. And the truth is, they didn't expect you to get over them. They expected you to wait, to suffer quietly, to chase when they decided to breadcrumb you back into orbit. But instead, you've become a planet of your own, not orbiting, not chasing, just existing with gravity so strong they can feel the pull, but can't land anymore. And here's what makes them spiral. They don't know what your silence means. They don't know if you've moved on, if you're in love, if you've forgotten. That mystery, that's their punishment. Not something you crafted, but something they created. And now they sit in the very uncertainty they once used against you. You used to analyze everything. You used to wonder, what does this message mean? What are they trying to say? But now you don't even open it. You don't chase meaning where there's only manipulation. You've learned that not every message deserves your mental energy. Not every invitation deserves your presence, because not everything that comes back was meant to stay. And yes, they'll keep trying in their own way. They'll try to recreate the bond they once had control over, but it won't work. Not because you hate them, but because you've built something more sacred now. Inner peace. And peace doesn't respond to chaos like it used to. You're not being mysterious. You're being unavailable to confusion. And folks, that's what Stoicism is at its core. Not coldness, but control. Emotional command. The ability to sit with discomfort, not react to every poke, and choose your energy with surgical precision. So when they reach out with vague breadcrumbs, don't panic, don't question, just observe. Because their message isn't a sign they've changed. It's a sign they noticed you have. Type it in the comments. I don't bite bait. Let them know the old you, the one they thought they could spin like a toy, is gone. That now your presence is a privilege, not a prize to be won through manipulation. And stay with me, because what's coming next, that's when they realize the one thing they used to take for granted isn't coming back. Number 6. When they see you're doing better, that's the collapse. It's not your absence that breaks them, it's watching you rise in it. They thought you'd fall apart without them, that you'd spiral, that the silence you left behind would swallow you whole. They expected your glow to fade, your energy to drop, your fire to burn out once they were gone. But what they're seeing now, it's the opposite. You didn't fall, you flourished. You didn't collapse, you clarified. And now the person they once dismissed is evolving into someone they never thought you'd become. That's the part they didn't plan for. See, folks, they were ready for your sadness. They were ready for the late-night texts, the passive likes, the "I miss you" moments that would feed their ego and remind them that you still hadn't moved on. That's what they were waiting for. The emotional relapse, the familiar chase. But what they got instead was silence, stillness, strength, and now, progress. That's when the mask they've been wearing starts to crack, because it's one thing to lose someone, it's another to watch them thrive without you, to see the glow up, to hear that you're hitting the gym again, starting your projects, laughing deeper, standing taller, building your peace and not broadcasting it, but living it. That kind of transformation, it's haunting, because it reminds them that you weren't the weak one, you were the loyal one, and now that loyalty is being poured back into you. They don't say it out loud. Of course not. They'll still post their stories, still laugh a little too loud, still pretend they're too busy to notice. But they're watching. Trust me, they're watching. Quietly, secretly, often. Because what you're doing now, it's disrupting their illusion. The belief that you needed them, that you'd always be orbiting, waiting, hoping. That illusion is collapsing under the weight of your new identity. They thought they were the main character in your story, but now they're realizing they were just a chapter, and you're already writing the next one without them in it. Let's break this lie wide open. They never wanted you broken. They wanted you beneath them, because as long as you were chasing, as long as you were doubting yourself, they felt in control. But now you're not chasing. Now you're not doubting. Now you're building, quietly, powerfully, relentlessly. And that shift, it's not just uncomfortable, it's threatening, because you've become the version of yourself they secretly feared, the one who no longer needs them to feel whole, the one who realized that heartbreak wasn't the end, it was the beginning, the ignition, the pressure that forged you into someone more focused, more disciplined, more grounded. You stopped checking their page, you stopped wondering what they were doing, and they felt that, not in your words, but in the absence of your attention. That absence became your power, and that power became your peace. And now that peace is glowing. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, but with awareness. You speak with purpose. You move with clarity. You stopped proving, stopped explaining, stopped apologizing for your standards. And now the world around you's adjusting to your energy, not the other way around. They thought you'd beg to be seen, but now you're invisible by choice. And that's the part that gets under their skin, not your anger, but your indifference. Because anger still means you care. Indifference, that means you've let go. And when you let go with grace, not spite, that's what pierces them. That's when the questions start echoing. What if I misjudged them? What if I pushed away someone who actually cared? What if the best version of them is the one I no longer have access to? That's not jealousy, that's regret. But here's the truth, my friend, and you need to hear it loud. You didn't change for them, you changed for you. This wasn't about showing them what they lost. This was about finding what you almost forgot, yourself, your worth, your voice, your power. And now that you've found it, you're not going back. Because the version of you that needed their attention to feel whole, he's gone, replaced by a man who creates his own momentum, who wakes up with purpose, who no longer waits for closure, but becomes it. So when they see you doing better, when they scroll through your life and realize they no longer have access to your peace, your progress, your presence, that's when the act starts slipping. That's when their pretending gets quiet. That's when the collapse begins, not yours, theirs. Type it in the comments. I rise in silence. Let them know, let yourself know, that you're not here to chase closure. You're here to become the kind of man that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, and doesn't break. The kind of man who builds, especially after being broken. And stay with me, because what comes next, that's when they realize the man they let go is the man they can no longer reach. Number 7, the fear that you've truly let go. They don't panic when you stop texting. They panic when they realize you're not coming back this time. You want to know when it really hits them. It's not in the silence, not in the space, not even when you first pull back. That part they can handle. That's part of the game they've played before. They've seen men go quiet, only to come crawling back. So when you stop texting, they shrug it off. When you stop checking their stories, they smirk. They think he'll be back. He always comes back. But then days turn into weeks, and weeks into an unshakable stillness. That's when the panic begins. Not a loud, screaming panic, not something they show on the surface. No, this one's quieter, deeper, more dangerous. Because this time, it feels different. The old version of you would have cracked by now. You would have reached out with some excuse just to feel a connection again. You would have folded at the first sign of distance just to hold on to something that was already slipping. But now, you're not chasing. You're not reacting. You're not playing tug of war with someone who never even held the rope properly in the first place. You've moved, not away from them, but toward yourself. And that realization, it terrifies them. Because people like this, they're not afraid of losing you temporarily. They're afraid of losing access to the version of you that didn't know his worth. The version of you who needed closure. The one who over-explained, over-apologized, overextended himself for the bare minimum. They're not mourning your silence. They're mourning their control over you. See, they counted on your loyalty, your softness, your empathy. They mistook it all for weakness. And now that it's gone, now that you've chosen self-respect over confusion, they don't know how to play the role anymore. The version of you that would have sat in pain just to make them comfortable, he's no longer available, and they feel it. You're not watching their stories. You're not waiting for a sign. You're not wondering what if. Because the truth is, you finally realized the most dangerous thing you could do wasn't letting go. It was holding on to something that kept draining you, to someone who kept pretending, to a connection that only worked when you were the one holding it together. Let me make this plain, my friend. They don't fear losing you. They fear being replaced by your peace. Because when you start living again without needing them, it hits. When your smile is real, when your mornings are quiet, when your nights are no longer filled with overthinking and anxiety over a person who made you question your value, that's when they start to crumble. And here's the brutal truth. They thought they were the center of your story, but now they're not even part of the plot. You've stopped referencing them, stopped emotionally orbiting them, stopped living in a loop, and they can sense it. That stillness you now walk with, that peace, it's loud to them, louder than any message you could have sent, because peace is the ultimate proof, not anger, not revenge, not staged rebounds. Peace means you're done, and they're just now realizing they never prepared for that. They prepared for your pain, for your confusion, for your longing, but they didn't prepare for your elevation, for your glow-up, for the version of you that walks without looking back, the version of you that no longer seeks permission to heal, that no longer asks for someone to see your worth, because now you do. And maybe the scariest part of all is that the man you've become, he wouldn't choose them again, not out of pride, but out of wisdom, because the you who begged for clarity is not the same you who became it. The you who tried to fix the bond is not the same you who realized some people only connect to control. And the you who waited for their love. He's been replaced by the man who finally gave it to himself. That's what they fear. Not that you're angry, but that you've outgrown the entire dynamic, that you didn't just leave the relationship, you left the role they had in your life. And once that happens, there's no going back. No more tests, no more access, no more emotional power. So let them pretend, let them keep posting, keep laughing, keep acting like they've won something, because deep down they know the truth. They didn't lose someone desperate. They lost someone rare. You and you. You've risen, quietly, powerfully, without needing to announce it. So type it loud in the comments. I've truly let go. Write it, mean it, show it. Not just for them to see, but for you to remember. And if this message hit your soul, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're building something real here, a brotherhood of men who no longer chase chaos, but become peace. This chapter is closed. The next, it's already writing itself, and this time, you're the author.